Hi everybody, I'm Hub Archer from Pro Football Weekly, and we continue previewing all four of the NFL's 2012 divisional playoff games. In this video, we've got the number one seed, the NFC, Atlanta Falcons, hosting maybe the hottest team in the NFL, the Seattle Seahawks. And you know, guys, I'm not sure if this will be the best game. I think it's the most intriguing one going in as far as the matchups. And here to break it down for us, Associate Editor Dan Parr covers the Atlanta Falcons. Our Executive Editor, Dan Arkish, has the Seattle Seahawks. Dan, you're on the road. We'll let you go first. And here's what jumped out at me. I was on the sidelines for Dial Global last weekend in Washington, D.C. The Seattle Seahawks are clearly not the same team on the road that they are at home. It's a different football team. Very impressive coming back from down 14-0 last weekend, but never quite able to put the Redskins away with the banged-up RG3. This is a much tougher test for them with this Atlanta offense.
Oh, absolutely, Hub. That said, though, they have won on the road lately. You know, they beat the Bears in a dramatic come-from-behind fashion, and they did the same thing against the Redskins. And, you know, the one thing about this Seahawks team, they are just extremely physical, and they just like to get in these, you know, brawls. And with Marshawn Lynch just kind of getting stronger and stronger as games wear on, you know, that's become a key thing for them. I think they come into this game with some great confidence, you know, after that victory last week. You know, one huge thing, though, they lost their best pass rusher, Chris Clemens. That's going to be a key factor.
All right, and Dan Parr, I turn to you with the Atlanta Falcons. I've been asked the question a lot this week, which of these 8 teams is under the most pressure? The pressure's the same for everybody. It's sudden death, single elimination. But I think the team that may be forced to try and prove themselves the most has to be the Atlanta Falcons. They got to show they can win a playoff game with all this talent.
That's right. With Mike Smith and Matt Ryan, they have yet to win a postseason game in 3 trips for the past seasons. Now, I think really what this game is going to come down to, more than maybe some of the others, is who can dictate the style of play. I think if the Seahawks come out and are able to have this game, be one where they're able to run the ball between the tackles, force Atlanta to run the football, play their style of defense, then the Falcons are in trouble. That doesn't play to their strengths. But if the Falcons come out and are throwing the football around the field, and Michael Turner can play that supporting role rather than a leading role, and defensively they're able to feature that pass rush and that secondary that I think is more of a strength in their front 7 versus the run, then I think it bodes in their favor.
Dan Arkish, that is. I look at the Seattle Seahawks, and you mentioned the loss of Chris Clemens. Not only do they lose their best pass rusher, but that puts the rookie Bruce Irvin on the field about 60%, 70% of the time. He only played 43% of the snaps during the regular season. He is a liability against the run. Interesting, though, that the Falcons haven't run the football very well, but you got to believe that's where they're going to attack that defense.
Yes, I think that's a key point there. I think they're going to run right at the undersized Irvin. But I think a couple of players to watch out for on the Seahawks are Greg Scruggs and outside linebackers KJ Wright and Mike Morgan, who are going to have to play the same kind of role that Irvin played behind Clemens. But yeah, this is a big test for the number 1 pick that a lot of people thought shouldn't have been the number 1 pick, and you know, he's going to be a focal point.
Back to Mr. Parr, you look at Atlanta on defense. The run defense has been a problem all year. It's been a little bit better the last 4 or 5 weeks. But I look at the pass D because Russell Wilson can beat you if you let him. John Abraham's the key. He's had a renaissance season. I thought he had maybe one of his best years in the NFL. Great job rushing the passer. Gets banged up the last game of the season. Where is he at, and where is this young Falcon defense at? Because other than Abraham, it is a young group.
Well, they're looking pretty good health-wise coming into this game. I think that bye week was really key for them to get some guys healthy, like Abraham, like William Moore. 2 key guys for that defense. Also, in terms of the defensive line, I think you have to keep an eye on Croy Bierman. He's not a guy that gets much attention, and maybe that helps him out this week. I think he plays with a ton of energy, comes off the edge, and he will make some plays in the backfield. Russell Wilson has been sacked 11 times in these past 2 games. Tries to get out on the edge. Bierman is athletic and quick enough, I think, to come out and maybe cut him off, force him back to the inside. So there is, while Abraham is the star of that defensive line by far, there are some other guys that can surprise you at times, and Bierman's one of those.
All right, one more quick question for you guys. I haven't even done this with the other games, but to me, this game has the most intriguing coaching matchup. And, you know, Pete Carroll, for all the discussion and all the bluster, not a ton of success in the playoffs. Dan Parr, no success for Mike Smith in the playoffs. How do you look at the coaching?
I think you got to give, at this point, Pete Carroll the edge. I just think that, you know, he really, the way that this team has come together and the decisions that he's made, everything that he's done has worked out in his favor. And we all know about the lack of success that Mike Smith has had. So I think right now I would give Carroll the edge.
How about you, Dan?
You know, it's hard for me to say that Mike Smith is the problem with the Falcons right now. I think that he still is one of the best things they have going for them. They haven't had success in the playoffs. Can't put that all on the coaching staff. They've made changes to that coaching staff that I think have made it better this year. Mike Smith deserves credit for that. 2 new coordinators. Maybe that's the difference for the Falcons this time around. Dirk Cutter and Mike Nolan in place. Both had really great years and both got some attention when head coaching positions came open this offseason. So I think that Mike Smith really always puts his team in a really good position to win. They're disciplined, fewest penalties in the league, and they come out prepared each and every week. They don't give up leads. That's another thing. Seattle's had slow starts each of the past couple games. They come out and do that against the Falcons. I think the Falcons are definitely going to win this game.
Now let's do it quickly, guys. Prediction time. Dan Arkus, you're first.
I really am tempted to go with Seattle, but I'm going to go with Atlanta to take the safe way out. I just think they're well rested and they're going to be a tough team.
Dan Parr?
Yeah, I agree with Dan. I'm going to go with the Falcons. This game, the more you look at it, the more it seems like a coin flip type of affair, but I think Atlanta has proven itself against some really good teams this year. At home, they're very tough to beat. Don't think they're going to beat themselves. I think they're going to force the Seahawks to make a couple mistakes that are the difference.
All right, guys, I got to tell you, I think Seattle's going to be a team to be reckoned with in the next couple of years, but I was troubled by that performance in Washington, D.C. last Sunday. If RG3 is healthy, I'm not sure the Seahawks are even here. Atlanta's got to win a playoff game. Their time is now. They're a good football team. This one is the Falcons. They finally get that win. That'll do it for our preview of the divisional playoff game. For all of the best in-depth analysis available anywhere of all 4 divisional playoff games and all the news, scoops, and rumors before they happen from around the National Football League, make sure you stay at ProFootballWeekly.com 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.